So imagine that you come into work on a normal night, you go into the office, go to our meeting, you go down, get a drink, go into the case, you check out the material we process from spills throughout the nights, and you look over, the shelves are all fine, every bag is sitting there all normal, except one is blown up like a balloon, and it's shooting some kind of gas out into the air. It's kind of a scary thing. It's times like that you want to know how to put on the SCBA properly and use it and store it. So you can read about SCBA regulations and a lot of technical terms on OSHA.gov if you'd like. I've been doing this 4 to 10 times a month for roughly 4 years, so I'm pretty well versed with it. There are 4 main steps I'm going to go over for putting this on. First, properly. First is putting on the tank. Next is checking the pressures and the system for leaks and your whistle alarm. And putting on the mask is your next step. And the last step is just taking the system off. So with no further ado, we're going to do our first step of putting on the tank. First thing you do is check your pressure down here. Should read 2216. It means you got a full tank. This one is full actually. We're going to put it on with our right arm first. Grab onto this gauge so it doesn't hit you in the face. It's kind of simple from here. Just tuck your straps in, fasten them up. This is our training unit, so it is a little more used than the official one. You make sure these straps, if you're actually responding, are tucked in tightly. We have a lot of moving equipment. You don't want to get this stuff snagged on anything. So for real response, make sure all this is tucked in good. All right, I've got the unit nice and hiked up on my back already. I tightened it up, but if it were lower, you just pull these straps down and it jumps up on your back. Check our regulator here. This O-ring should be in place, which it is. It's not broken. This red bypass is closed. So that's it. The tank is on. Moving on to the next step is checking our system for leaks and this whistle alarm. This thing never likes to go back in here. All right, so I'm going to fire up the tank. Whistle alarm sounds. That's the first thing that tells you it's working. First thing we do is we check this pressure. It should match what's on the gauge, or plus or minus 220 pounds. This matches dead on. It's a small system, so it always does. We're going to check to see if we have air coming out, which we do. Continuing. Now we're going to turn the tank back off. At this point, there's no air being fed into the system, so you watch your gauge again. It should not drop any. It can drop 90 pounds. It should not drop more than 100 within 10 seconds. If it's dropping at all, you have a leak. So basically, if it's dropping, don't use it. And the next step is to check the whistle alarm completely for function. Bleed out the tank very slowly. You watch your needle on the gauge here. It's a little too far away to see, but it's going to sound when it gets into the red, which it did, and it's going to stop when it's at roughly 200 pounds. It's a double check to make sure you know you can get away from a dangerous situation. You're running out of air. So that functions properly. So that is our check for the system for leaks and the whistle alarm. Next step, well, I'm going to go ahead and open my tank back up so we're ready to go. Tank's open. Next step is putting on the mask. I'm not going to put on the mask because you won't be able to hear what I'm saying, of course. But this piece just gets pumped right over your head. You tighten up your chin straps and your temple straps. 2 checks you perform with your mask. You're going to cover this valve and you're going to breathe in. That's going to create a seal around your face. You're going to feel no air leaking. If you feel air coming in, if you're not creating a seal, there's a problem with the mask. I did talk with Brent Snyder, the district safety supervisor, and he said this is the most important step. He said he knows people have gone into situations before with this on, thinking everything's fine, and there has been a leak in their mask. So all of a sudden their eyes start burning. They don't know what's going on. So be sure you perform those checks correctly. We did our inhalation to make sure for that. You're also going to cover it and you're going to breathe out. You should not feel the mask puffing out around your face. You should hear the air coming through these front vents. If the mask puffs out at all, it's jammed, so you can't use it again. After that, you got your mask on. I guess I can demonstrate. Put the regulator right in here. You breathe in, it opens up. You're going to go ahead and check to be sure you have some free-flowing air. You want to give yourself a tug here, make sure this is tight too. And otherwise, that's it. You've put this on. You're ready to use it. The next steps are simple. Just taking it off. You pop this out. Take your mask off, of course. Clean it with a little towelette we have down the cage. Turn your tank all the way off. Go ahead and bleed out the system. You go ahead and turn the tank the other way so it turns off. That helps. Okay. Okay, so the system's emptied out. Pretty easy for taking it off. Obviously, just take it off your back. Always grab a hold of this so it doesn't hit you in the face. It's happened before. You want to check your tank again. If we used it to know it's at 2216 still. If it's not, you can't use the tank. We will switch it out, but that's a lesson for another time. So that was 4 simple steps for putting this on. You put the tank on, you check your system for leaks, check your whistle alarm function, put your mask on correctly, and then take off the system. You can read about this on our health and safety websites. All the SCBA on and off procedures are on there. I can give you guys copies of them if you would like. Otherwise, it's just important if you're ever going to use this that you know how to use it properly to ensure your safety and your fellow coworkers. Are there any questions? Good. Thank you very much for being here, and I appreciate it.